Alright, so I'm going to show how to open up a DELL XPS 159550. So first what you want to do is remove all the Torx T5 screws on the bottom. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. After you remove those, you want to open up this and remove the two PH1 screws on the bottom. So just take those two out, alright? After you remove all the screws, you can grab from the back here and then you can pull this up. It should come out pretty easily, and then you can just set it aside. So this has a thermal pad on it. You don't want to get this dirty, so make sure if you set it down not to set it down like this on something. Okay. Alright, so once you got all of that opened up, then you can see there's 2 sticks of RAM and SSD. This is a NVMe PCIe M.2 SSD. Alright, the RAM is DDR4, looks like. So let me double check. So here you go. Oops, sorry. PC4, here you can see 2133P. So if you need RAM, DDR4, that's what you need. Okay. So once you do that, you'll want to take out the battery first. So there'll be one screw here, 2, then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. Once you get those screws out, this part has a little raised lip, so you can actually pull on it with your nail a little bit. So I like to pull it a little bit first, that way it's easier, and then hold the battery so it's not like blocking the cable from coming out, and then you can pull this whole thing out. Okay, usually after I remove the battery, I like to hold the power button a few seconds. When you open it carefully and slowly. Don't quickly open it because the hinges now have a little bit less support with the back cover. Alright, so just do that. Hold the power button for a few seconds to drain anything out. Alright, I already did this before, so it's not too bad. Okay, alright, so after that, if you need to take the SSD out, there's one screw, it'll pop up at an angle, just pull it out, wiggle it out, and then same thing to put it back. So I'm going to also show how to take out the screen, but as you can see, the fan, they're held in by a couple screws here, and the connector, the other fan, same thing, 2 screws here, and the connector. I don't need to take that out, but there's the trackpad here with the trackpad cable. Then you got the 2 speakers here. The speaker cable runs from this speaker over to the other speaker and then plugs in right here. Alright, let's see what else. Then you got this little board here. What is that? I believe that's for the keyboard. So they did some smaller board for the keyboard, and then this is for the LEDs. And then they just connect it using this. So there's the little backlight connector here. And then looks like everything else is soldered in place. There's the DC jack here. So if you need to replace the charge port, it's right here. Then you can take the connector out. Alright. So I'm going to show how to remove the wireless cards and everything. So the wireless card, let me see if I can zoom in for you. Okay, so here's the wireless card. Alright, so the wireless card's held in by one screw and this little bracket thing. So you just undo that screw. It'll pop up a little bit at an angle. They actually label this here so you know the gray wire goes here, white one, and the black one goes there. So what I do to take these out is you pull up from the tail. The easiest way is you hold underneath the tail and then you just push down the wireless card. Alright, so same thing with these connectors. That's the easiest way if you have room. Otherwise, you just pull up on the tail. Don't pry up from the back here because you can damage it, okay? So that's the wireless card. It comes up at an angle, and you just wiggle it out just like that, okay? Alright, and then I'll show you now the LCD connector, which is right here. Alright, so the LCD connector, to remove that, you just use the same PH1 screwdriver, alright, and just pull it out like that. You'll have this little bracket. This little part, I can't see, it's zoomed in too much. So this little part of the bracket, it actually goes into this part here. So make sure when you put it back that's how you put it. Okay, and then to remove the oops, sorry, I can't see here. So to remove this connector, just get your fingernail underneath this little strappy thing here. And while you're pulling this, I like to get my fingernail under like one side so I can easily like pull it up like that. Alright, that makes it a lot easier. And then to route this cable out, you actually have to undo one of the fan screws. So you have to undo the screw up here. So actually there's 3 screws holding this fan. So the one on the top right corner. So you'll have to remove that one. Okay, set that aside. That way you can actually lift the fan up slightly while you're routing this cable out. Okay, just like that. All right, and then you got the fan connector out. There'll be some of this tape on there, so you have to like carefully peel this tape up. I already peeled it earlier, so it's coming out easily. And then you have to also undo this little connector here. So same thing with this one. There's tape holding it in 2 spots. Get the tape out, peel it carefully. All right, and when you have that, you can actually slightly wiggle this cable as close as possible to here, and also pull on this little clear plastic tab, and that will help you get out this connector. Okay, and then what you want to do now, you have to it'll help if you open these like a tiny bit, so you can undo them a little bit. These screws, don't undo them too much, because otherwise if you try and open up the screen while it's like that, it can more easily break the thing here. Okay, so once you loosen the screws a little bit, open the screen about 90 degrees. Okay, I don't know if I can show this on camera. Let's see here. There we go. Sorry, it's wobbling around. So open that 90 degrees and then fully remove the 3 screws on both sides. So 1, 2, and be careful if you do this. Normally, if I were doing this without recording it, I would actually just hang the screen off the edge of a desk or table, so that way the screen will just be holding itself, the keyboard will be holding itself up, so you don't have to worry, like if you were to let go of the keyboard, then the whole thing will just fall out. So just be careful with that. Okay, so again on this side, 3 screws. I don't think you can really see much with my hand in the way, but okay, that's what you want to do. Remove all 3 screws from here too. It's all going out of view, sorry. It's difficult to record this while I work on it. Okay. Alright, so now you got all 6 screws out from the hinges. What you do is you can actually lower this down, okay, from both sides, and then make sure the cables don't get caught on anything, because you don't want to break anything, and then you have this come separate. Okay, so there you go. All right, the keyboard on this looks like if you had to replace it, it'd be very difficult. It's underneath the motherboard. I'm not going to take it out to check, but yeah, so once you get that done, then if you want to do anything with the cables under here, so this one had a loose cable. What you want to do for this, you find out, like this piece, it can slide. So find out which way it slides. So it slides this way towards the wireless antennas. So after that, you're going to have to lift this up. So this hinge is a little bit in the way. So you're going to have to fold the hinge back down. Okay. And it's really hard to put these hinges back up once you fold it. So the easiest way to do it is you get one of the screwdrivers, and then you use the hole of this, and you can actually pry it back. So, and then once you get it started, then you can do it by hand if you need to do that. Okay. So once you get that done, you can slide this part all the way. It's a little bit, it'll get stuck a little bit. So just push it really hard. And then once you do that, you can lift from this, starting on this side, and it will go up at an angle like that. Okay. And to put it back, same thing, you just put it back down. This side goes towards the screen, and this side goes towards the bottom. Okay. So once you do that, so this one had a loose cable, and the loose cable was caused by these screws being loose. So these screws were loose, and then this hinge was loose, and it was pulling on this cable. So what I did to fix the issue, you have to like push up on this cable, and then once you do that, you can put it back in the computer like this without putting everything else back, and then test it and make sure it's working. If you have to tighten these screws, you use some red Loctite. The blue Loctite, it comes loose a lot easier, so I like to use the red one. Okay, and that's pretty much for that. I haven't gone into removing the screen because it looks kind of risky to do it, but most likely If it's like other DELL ones like this, you'd probably have to remove all these screws, move this antenna thing out of the way, and then you could probably slide the whole screen down. But I'm not going to try it. I'm thinking that's how it works on this model. But yeah, if you were to replace this, it's probably going to be kind of a lot of work and a little risky that you might damage the screen more. So if you're attempting to take the screen out, probably don't do it unless your screen's like really bad. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Basically just reverse everything to put it back, and that's all. Hopefully this video helped you. If it did, remember to like and subscribe because that'll help me. And thank you for watching. Bye.